Mommy, mommy, happy Mother's Day. I want to thank you for taking care of me and kissing my boo-boos when I had to go to dialysis. I made you a picture. I hope you like it. Thank you for reading books to me, like Melzy Takes Dialysis to Show and Tell. Thank you, mommy. I love you. The song you taught me, well, the broccoli, the vegetables you made me eat, I'm still working on the broccoli, but I love you, mommy. Thank you for the song. Where's your kidneys? Right in here. And it keeps your blood really clean. Dialysis, 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 and treatment is the name. Thank you, mommy. Happy Mother's Day to you. I love you. Welcome to the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in a kidney world. Well, happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Godmother's Day, natural mother, grandmother, godmother, surrogate mother, mother. Thank you. Even thank you to my own mother who has 17 children, her and my father, and I was the 15th child. Thank her for having me and dealing with me all together. So, welcome to the Lisa Baxter Show. I wanted to let you know today we got something good for you. I just don't only talk to you about dialysis, but I give you the resources to get you through your issue, your problem, your illness, your sickness, you, your family, or anybody dealing with anything. I have for today, my guest name is Shain Anderson. He's from Sydney. Sydney is called that's an acronym for Center for Independent of the Disabilities of New York. I'm going to let them tell you what they do, how they do it, how we met, and the whole shenanigans. So sit tight, sit close, and listen up, because I got my guest and he's coming. Come on now, Shane.
Wow, well, Lisa, thank you so much. Thank you for that introduction, and thank you so much for the chance for me to be here tonight and talk to you and talk to your viewers about what the Center for Independence of the Disabled in New York can do and the resources that we can connect you with. So thank you so much.
Ah, yes. Yeah, you are operation community organizer that help people with transportation and stuff, because a lot of people that deal with dialysis and illnesses sometimes don't have anybody to drive them to their treatment or to their places. So tell us what you do, Shane.
Absolutely. So what I do is as you're correct, I am the Accessoride Community Organizer for Sydney. So what that means is that we as an organization, we go out and we talk to people about Accessoride. We tell people what it is, how it works, and critically, we can help those people that may need it apply for the service. So we're
Mm.
very happy to offer that for folks.
Okay. Now, Accessoride is in New York, but when I traveled, I got Accessoride, but when I traveled, they called it different things in other places. So
Hmm.
somebody may be looking from another country or another spot as well and want to know what exactly Accessoride is. But what you know about it being in New York, explain exactly what Accessoride is.
Well, sure. So Lisa. That's a very good point, and thank you so much for that question because that's a question that a lot of people have. So, Accessoride is New York City's name for the paratransit service, and
Mhm.
under the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was a landmark disability legislation that was passed, that every city has to have a transportation options for people with disabilities that cannot take the bus or the subway
Mhm.
because of their disability. So if you use Accessoride, which is again New York City's name for paratransit, you can use any other city's paratransit throughout the country, and a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, because usually when I try to offer Accessoride or tell somebody about it, they say, "Oh, well, I don't have insurance. I don't have medical insurance, or I don't have insurance, period." And I say, "You don't have to have insurance for this. You just have to at least have a disability, whether it's a temporary disability or it's a permanent one."
Absolutely, and thank you so much for mentioning that because a lot of people will say, I don't I use crutches. I have a disability called cerebral palsy. A lot of people will say, "Well, I don't use crutches. I don't use a walker. I don't qualify for Accessoride." And that's not the case. There is no disability that will automatically qualify you for Accessoride. But then again, there is no disability that will disqualify you. So we have
Mm.
folks that have physical disabilities. We have folks that have visible disabilities, and we have a lot of people that have invisible disabilities that are using it, and that's a good point for dialysis as well. Many people that use dialysis can absolutely and do use accessorides, so that's a very good point.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right. You and I invited you one time to my job, so to talk to parents
Hmm.
and my parents, 'cause I'm a social worker, to tell them also about what your organization do, as well as help them to get accessorized, because some of them were denied accessorized. So you also fight for people that's denied. So talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So when you apply for Accessoride, you will apply. But if you are denied, and this is an issue that a lot of people have, if you are denied, you have the right to appeal that denial. And then if you're denied again, you have the right to appeal again. But absolutely, we can guide you through how you appeal, and we can help you appeal as well. Because a lot of people will say, well, I came with all this documentation, and why didn't I get accessoride? Or I'm 90 and I have all these health concerns. I applied for accessoride. Why didn't I get it? And that's always tough to hear. We wish that everybody that needed accessoride would just automatically get it, but that's not the way it is. There is an application process, but we're happy to help people appeal that denial if they
Yeah.
do get denied.
Well, I didn't know about you then exactly what you do. And this happened to an older lady that I knew in my church. When they kicked her off and kept me on, and she was older than I was, and I knew some other illness she had, I was livid because I didn't know what to do exactly to help her. Because instead they gave her the one where you take the bus and
Yep.
then to one destination, and you can pick up accessoride, it can pick you up from there. If you could do all of that, you might as well either start driving or get your own car or something.
Yep. Yep. What you're talking about is called feeder service,
Okay, speak
where
about it.
where your trip will begin or end with public transit. So, for example, Accessoride could drive you, say, to the nearest accessible subway station, and then you'd use the subway, and then they would pick you up and take you to the remainder of your to take you to your destination. But you're absolutely right. A lot of people say, well, I'm applying for Accessoride because I cannot take the bus or the subway for all or part of my trips. So why is Accessoride making me use, in their view, making them use public transit? But a good important point to raise is that you can use Accessoride and also use the bus and also use the subway. I myself use all three. Okay, I
Hmm.
don't I don't drive. I use the bus. I'm an Accessoride user, and I use the subway. So absolutely, you can use all three.
Yes, I
But
have used all three until I started having the issues with my bones and my joints where I couldn't
mhm,
stand for long periods of time and all of that. So I had to go back to because they started giving me that thing with the bus thing. And in the 16 years I had it, they never did that.
sure,
I was a
sure.
little upset, but I said, okay, if I'm fine enough, you don't mind. You can do it, you don't mind.
So,
When you can't do it, you
mhm.
mind, you
So,
know?
there's 2 points. What I always say when we counsel people on how they're applying for Accessoride, you want to apply with Accessoride as if it is your worst day. Um,
Thank you. Say
that's
that again.
you want to apply when you're applying for Accessoride as if it is your worst day, because people with disabilities, and I'll just speak for myself, we like to say, "Oh, it's not that bad. I can do it." Um, you
Hmm.
know, I can do it, and it's not that bad. We want to be proud, which is good. We should be
Yes,
of our accomplishments. But
sure.
honestly, when you're applying for Accessoride, this is
Mhm.
not the time to be proud. This
No,
is the time to highlight every disability you have that affects your ability to travel. Not every disability you have, but just the disabilities that affect your ability to travel, and give concrete examples of how that affects you in terms of travel.
That is
Um,
so true. That is so true. I had to tell my husband that because he says, "Honey, I could walk." I said, "Yeah, you can walk, but you don't. They don't see you when I have to assist you, or when
mhm.
you had that walk, or you got the walker. They see, you got to show them the other side because nobody will believe you if you never show the other side."
Absolutely, because we all have good days and bad days.
Yeah.
I know you do. You know I do.
Always.
When I have a bad day, I can't walk. I can't
Mm,
walk.
mm,
So it's important that when I was applying Accessor, I knew that. And you can include in your application something that we call a travel journal,
mm.
which is simply a fancy way of providing a documentation that says, in my case, during the winter, I fell and
Oh,
I couldn't get up because the sidewalks aren't plowed and it was really rather awful. So I said in my travel journal, on Tuesday I fell and I was on the ground for X period of time before I could get up. And so Accessori needs to know that. So when you go for the evaluation and you're walking in there like nothing's wrong, they can see that's a good day for you. And you don't need
ah,
Accessoride for good days. You need Accessoride for when you need it for bad days. So that's an important piece.
wow. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. You know what I admire about you guys at Sydney is that we had to go lobby day. We had a lobby day where we had to go to Albany and speak
Mm-hmm.
to the people up there, the assemblymen, and explain our plight. And I
Mm-hmm.
really dug that because everybody came, walkers, wheelchairs, you name it, you could, blind. I mean, every disability was represented,
Sure.
and we
Sure.
were able to talk to the senators and them and really give our thing. And you guys had that more than once. I couldn't really stand for the last time y'all went because I couldn't stand, but I do admire that. Talk a little bit about that, your experience with it or how it went about.
I'm delighted to, of course. So that's a big part of what the Center for Independence of the Disabled does is advocacy, and it's advocacy on the state level. And a
Mm,
big part of that is, again, as you said, going up to Albany and talking to elected officials
sure.
and policymakers about those issues that affect people with disabilities. And this is, as you said, this is not simply transportation. This is housing, access to housing,
Preach.
access to health care, access
Mm-hmm.
to good jobs. What are the barriers that we have to employment as people with disabilities? What about living safely in our homes as we age? Because people get disabilities as they age. So
Uh-huh.
these are the things that we work on, and these are the things that we'd love to have people such as yourself join us in Albany to do. We're going up to Albany again the 29th of this month. So
Wow.
for people that would love to come again, please reach out to us. Please check our website, which is sydney.org,
Mm-hmm.
um, and definitely get involved with us in terms of advocacy. We have something called the CAN Network or the Sydney Action Network. And this is an advocacy arm of our organization. And these are folks that want to get involved and go to rallies or talk to their local elected
Assemblyman.
representatives, yet the
Mm-hmm.
senators on the state level. Um,
Legislate.
Absolutely, people that want to do that about on those issues that matter to them. Definitely come on and talk to us and talk to Sydney. We're active on social media. Follow us on Facebook, and of course, you can also come just drop on in and say hi. We love to see you. We have walk-in days in our Manhattan office, which is 841 Broadway, as well as our Queens office, which is 8002 Kew Gardens Road in Kew Gardens. So absolutely, we like to be available in any way that we can.
Possible, yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like that. I mean, I was going to ask you that next question, but wow, you went there. Hey, it's all good. All right,
For
we
sure.
we hosting and co-hosting together. How about
There,
that?
there you
You
go.
know,
There you go.
Hey, what's that thing you said about a team or a village or what?
Oh, I said life's a team sport. You
That's
know,
right.
I
Life's a
like
team
I
sport.
like to say life is a full contact team sport. You will get knocked down, but it's about your team to pick you back up and keep on going.
Oh,
So,
you ain't never lied.
uh,
Come on here.
eh,
You ain't never lied. Now, um, also when I went to Sydney, because I went to Sydney for more than one thing, I sometimes Sydney have meetings. Talk
mhm.
about the meetings that you guys have.
Sure. So we have meetings, as I said, is the Sydney Action Network
Uh-huh.
meetings.
Yeah.
We often host workshops. We have a housing workshop that we host. We have a writer's workshop for people who are interested in writing. But again, the Sydney Action Network is a huge part of what we do. And we have a lot of different meetings around a lot of the range of services that we offer. Um, if you are food insecure and have a question on SNAP, um, if you have a question on, if you have a child and you have a question on their schooling in terms of IEPs or getting reasonable accommodations because they are disabled or a grandchild for that matter, you can actually come in and you can discuss with a counselor what your concerns are. And I think, to talk on a personal level, um, how I got involved in advocacy, one of the reasons I got involved, as I said,
Yes.
I have cerebral palsy. And years ago, I needed assistance, and I went to different organizations that serve people with my disability. And I remember I called one organization, and I said, "You serve people with cerebral palsy. I have cerebral palsy. Please assist me."
Yes.
And they said, "Well, no, you're not." Based on a phone conversation, they said, "Oh, you're not disabled enough."
Mm.
And I said, "Pardon me? How does this work?" And they said, "Well, because you can speak."
Wow.
Um, and I was taken back. I said, "Of course I can speak." So long story short, I went to other disability organizations, major disability organizations in the city, and got a very similar reaction. So what I like about Sydney is the peer mentoring that we do, which is that if you
That's,
walk into Sydney, by and large, you're going to be talking to someone who has a disability, whether that's visible or invisible,
that's
and
right.
you
I was very moved by that.
that's
Hmm.
sorry, thank you. You don't have to prove that you're disabled at Sydney. You can do what we call self-identify. You can walk in and say, "Look, I have a disability. I need assistance," and we will do our best to assist you and connect you with those services that we can connect you with. We do information and referral, so you don't have to prove, bring in paperwork that says you are disabled to receive services from us. And I think that is something that I find really, really helpful.
That is helpful because, even if you have a disability or not, it makes you feel more like a human being,
Hmm.
and I mean, who's to say how sick I am? How sick do you want me to be? I came for help. The
Hmm.
point is, I came for help.
Hmm.
Are you going to help me or not? I usually say, okay, you can't help me. You must know somebody that can. You must know another organization, association, foundation, something that can help me or refer me.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
sometimes they say we sorry and this, that, and the other. And so I've been there too, Shane. I've been there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Now, what's one of the worst you would say, what was one of the hardest issues that you ever had helping somebody? Because I know at being a social worker, you want to help the whole world. And there's always that one that you helped, but it didn't seem like enough, or like it got away, or you just didn't
Hmm.
do anything.
Well, there was one, and I, you know, thank God. Luckily, it ended well. But there was a gentleman who was blind, and he applied for accessoride many times,
Wow.
and was denied, many times. And this is a gentleman who fell onto the tracks, um, because he was
Mm,
blind and
Jesus.
he was denied. And he came to us, and we were able to advocate with him. He's a great advocate, and he now has accessoride. And that was that was very
Hallelujah.
fulfilling.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was very fulfilling. Um, but as you said, and I said earlier, life is a team sport. So you do what you can, and then you go to the people around you to get help when you need it.
Hmm.
But absolutely,
Wow.
that was a hard one, but it ended well. But it was hard to see how he really struggled for what should be really a basic right, which is the ability to travel when and where you need to,
Yes.
in the city of New York.
Yeah. They say equal opportunity, but how equal is it if I can't get to my job or my medical appointment or any type of appointment if you're not going to assist me?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, the land of the free, the home of the brave, all of that.
Sure.
Show me.
Absolutely. When I talked briefly about the employment rate for people with disabilities, and it's much lower than it is for their peers without disabilities. And when you talk to them about, why do they think it is, why do they think the employment rate is as low as it is?
Mm-hmm.
They will talk. The second thing that they mention is lack of access to accessible transportation
Mm.
as the second biggest barrier to employment for people with disabilities. And the data really bears that out.
Yeah.
So I'm happy through a grant from the New York Community Trust to be involved in this project to really take a look at how do we improve not only accessoride but transportation options for people with disabilities in the city overall.
Wow. Yes. Now that's a good accomplishment. That's my next question because sometimes I think like accessoride is not accessoride has improved, I'd say, in the 16 years that I had it. But I remember when I would be outside waiting in the cold and they said they didn't see me and
Mm-hmm.
I was out there and they left me.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so it had its good
Yeah.
and its bad. They improved a great deal, but I remember the days when it wasn't so good. You know what I
Well,
mean?
absolutely, they've improved, but it's called Stressoride for a reason.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
stressor ride, messer ride, stressor ride.
yeah,
They need competition because see, they know they were the only ones. And when you're the only ones and you knew, you can kind of get away with a little bit of murder there. But you know, we call them on the carpet because I do call and complain when I need to complain, and I call and give accommodations when I find a good worker.
there
I
you
will
go.
not,
There you
So
go.
yeah,
Absolutely. And for people that want to get on board with making their voices heard around Accessoride, one of the great things that we do is the MTA has monthly board meetings.
okay,
And these board meetings are always to Broadway, in Manhattan between Beaver and Stone
okay,
Streets,
mhm,
and the next full board meeting is Wednesday, May 22nd at
okay,
9. And why that's great is there's a 2-minute public comment period at the start of that meeting when you can address the leadership of the MTA, the leadership of Accessoride,
good,
about those issues that matter to you. Because a lot of people will say, well, I can complain, but I feel like nothing happens. I complain
yeah,
and complain and complain, yet Accessoride is still, Stressoride.
yeah.
And so what can I do? And I think coming to the MTA board and really voicing your frustration and telling showing them your experiences is really critical. And we've had a lot of success um, because advocates have come out in force to
Oh
those
yeah,
meetings.
yeah.
They wanted to raise the base fare on Accessoride recently. Advocates got together and we stopped that because we said,
Fantastic.
yeah. So it absolutely does help. Absolutely
And the
does.
elevator too, right?
Yep.
Remember when there was no elevator in the subway? There was some problems with the elevators. Some certain stations had it and certain stations didn't. So my hats off to you guys too with that. Because I remember, because they do send papers to us,
Mm-hmm.
notes, and where we can write letters to legislation, show up, go, come, whatever, have our
Sure.
voice heard in different ways. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. I mean, that is absolutely an ongoing issue. It's an ongoing fight, and
I know.
we're definitely not gonna give up on that. But accessibility is not just elevators.
I
It
know.
is accessibility for people that are low vision. It's accessibility for people that have cognitive issues.
Yes.
So accessibility really is a broad topic, but we're happy to be involved in
Oh
making
yeah.
a city that works for everybody.
Well, when I had issues with housing, I needed some help with that. You guys were able to guide me, fill out some applications with
Great,
me.
great,
Just because I'm a
great.
social worker didn't mean I didn't need help, and I didn't act so like all of that that I
Hmm.
wouldn't go for help. No matter who we are, we need to go if we need it or work with somebody. See, and I
Absolutely.
learned something at the same time and was able to use you guys for a resource to help other people.
Well, that's great. That's great. I mean, I love to hear that. And the other thing is also is you build the relationships for when you need them. So even if everything is going great and you're wondering, well, I'm worried about this in the future, or this could potentially be an issue in the future.
Sure.
Come down to Sydney. We'll talk about it. So you have a sense of what's coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're wondering, well, as I age, how is that going to affect my benefits? Or if I take this job, speaking of employment, um, how will that affect my benefits? And because that's an important thing to consider. Yeah, people with disabilities can work, and they are working, but it
Right.
does have an effect on your benefits in some cases. So
Yes.
absolutely, that's an important thing to know as well. Um,
You can make a certain amount of money, I know. I mean, there's a certain amount of money that's why you're saying it could still work. So, but well,
absolutely, absolutely.
your agency also helps people with different languages. I noticed too, because I have the pamphlet in English, I have it in Spanish, and I was able to give it out.
Yes, yes, we
The
do.
different ones. I think I even found Bengali or Chinese or something. But
Yep.
whatever I had, I just took a sloop of them to give out.
Yep. No, that's a good point, and we're very um, glad to be able to reflect the community that we serve. You have people that speak dozens of languages, and they have cultural competence when they're speaking to people from different cultures. So
Oh
we're
yeah,
absolutely happy to provide that service and be able to assist people in a range of languages.
Uh,
Absolutely.
tell them the phone number, Shane.
Sure. So our phone number for our Manhattan office is 212-674-2300,
Mm-hmm.
and that's for Manhattan. Okay. And Queens is 646-442-1520. And when you can come to either office, and we serve citywide, so no worries. Um, and you can call and you can do an intake, and we're going to ask you basic questions. Everything is confidential. All our services are free. We don't ask questions about immigration status, anything like this. You do for some services, but we don't ask questions about that. Um, and again, all our services are free. So absolutely, come on down and
Just wanted to
start
say.
having that conversation. Absolutely.
That's very important to say about the immigration part. And that's very important to say about the many languages, because there's so many of us with different types of disabilities, even though we magnify the kidney one and the transplant and what have you, even
Hmm.
family members of these people too, of us,
Sure.
sometimes need the help.
Hmm.
Sometimes, we have all our services, but somebody in our family may need the service, a coworker, a friend. It can just
Absolutely.
go any kind of way. I,
Absolutely.
I believe in just taking the numbers and putting them in my phone. And when I need them, I know where to go back to them, or at least keep a binder or a book of these type of services and be able to, look through it and go back to it, because you just never know. You
Absolutely.
just never know.
I mean, we say, if you live long enough, okay,
Hmm.
you're going to join our club of people with disabilities, okay. Um, you have friends that are disabled, loved ones, as you said. So absolutely, we're delighted to be a resource.
Okay. All right. All
Hmm.
right. So I appreciate the housing part of it. Is there anything in particular you do when it comes to housing?
Sure. So there's a lot that we can do. Absolutely. So if and as you said, from your situation, you can walk in and say, you know what, this is the question I have about housing, and you can sit down with a housing specialist, and they can direct you and guide you as to what your housing options may be,
Mhm.
given your income and given other factors as well. We
Okay.
don't, unfortunately, provide the housing ourselves, but
Right.
we can definitely point you, and are happy to point you in the direction of the housing that may be of assistance for you. So absolutely.
Do you guys give any law referrals or anything like that?
We do absolutely.
Okay.
If you feel, again, if you feel that that's something that you need, we can absolutely put you in touch. We do a lot of information and referral around
Okay.
around those issues. So absolutely.
All
Yeah.
right. So Give me some examples of some referrals. Just just before I close down or wrap it up. I got some more time for so
No
I can
worries.
pull you a little more. Yeah.
No worries. So we could in terms of a legal a legal referral, we could do um, the NILAG, New York Legal Assistance Group, that we could refer you to if
Hmm.
that's something that you need. We if you need if you feel again you have that your rights are being violated, there's Commission on Human
Discrimination or
Rights.
something. Hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So there's a lot of referrals that we can do. I had a participant the other day who called wondering about American Sign Language
Okay.
classes for her child, and we have staff that's are proficient in ASL, and so I said, hey, can you speak to this individual, and they were able to speak to that individual. So again, it's if I don't have the answer, we don't have the answer, we can are happy to connect you with someone who
Who
can who
has
can
the answer?
assist. Hmm.
Yeah, that's my favorite line too. If I can't find it or dig it out, I'm gonna find you somebody that can find it.
Absolutely,
you
absolutely.
know but you
Yep.
nowadays you got to be a researcher. You got to look. You got to you just got to work your community. You know what I mean? Work to see what's out there in your community. Find out what's out there, what they do, how they service you, and see what they can do to help you and others.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's how I got involved, because I said, how is it that I, as a person with cerebral palsy, was being turned away from organizations that serve people with cerebral palsy? So it was that question of, I want to know why. And so that led me to the path of, oh, let me figure out why, and that led me to Sydney, and
Hmm.
absolutely. So it is. There's a lot of resources out there. There's a
Yes.
lot of resources. Unfortunately, we still have major gaps in terms
Oh,
of
we do.
resources.
Yeah.
But absolutely, we can assist.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you can assist. I'm glad that you putting it out there. You letting your disability work for you, and it worked for you in a whole different way. You went for
Hmm.
help, got the help, and then found a place that helped you. That you want to do some helping as well. So I do
Sure.
love that about you, Shane. I mean, you
Sure.
didn't mind doing the show. You had to ask permission, but I like that you were respectful to to go find out and come back and let me know, and then
Hmm.
you came to my job and helped me with the workshop, and you just been a help altogether, even assisting me. So
Yes,
I
that's
thank
correct.
you for coming on the show. I thank you for lending everything. All right.
Well,
I
appreciate the
thank you.
opportunity. I mean, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay. I thank you. I appreciate you again. And, I couldn't get the rest of your colleagues or anybody else. And some of them were interested and some of them were nervous or
Okay.
scared
Okay.
about it. Yeah. So
Sure.
I understand. Some people don't like being on TV or being interviewed or anything like that, but they will help you. So I give them that. They didn't have to do the interview, but they're helping others and they helped me. So I thank you once again for
Sure.
coming. And is there anything you want to add or say, or
No,
maybe you want to say something to a person that's dealing with cerebral palsy or any other dialysis patients that may have cerebral palsy, or just dealing with anybody with a disability?
absolutely. If you and Lisa, if your viewers forget everything that I've said today, just remember that the Center for Independence of the Disabled New York can be here and is here to assist you. Definitely follow us on social media. It's Sydney.org, CIDNY.org. You
Yeah.
can comment on our Facebook page. You can come in for the walk-in hours, and we can assist you that way. But absolutely, all our services are free, and we are a resource for you. We're a resource for the community, and we're a resource for friends, family. Definitely, as an independent living center, we exist to help people with disabilities break down those barriers that they find in society. So absolutely, definitely
Hmm.
come on down.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your help. And thank you for your direction. Keep on fighting for the cause. Keep doing
Absolutely.
what you do. We appreciate you and we love you and we thank you for being on the show tonight.
Right
Great
back at you.
job.
Have a great one.
You
Bye.
too. You too.
Bye.
Well, all you moms out there, I forgot to give you your roses and your flowers. So here are your flowers and here are your roses. And I want to say again, happy Mother's Day. I want to thank you for viewing in because I know it's your Mother's Day and you're being spoiled by your family and your children, but you still took time to sit down with the Lisa Baxter Show and enjoy it and learn something from it. Whether it was something big or small, we're just glad that you learned. So thank you very much again for tuning in, for coming on and being a blessing and a great support. A million blessings to you and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much and good night. Good night. Okay.